Ladies and gentlemen, heels and faces, casual wrestling fans, and all you smart mark. I'm Mr. Richie Moon,
Okay.
I'm Kayfabe Focus.
and this is Kayfabe Avenue. Yo, AJ, what we got cooking up this week, man? There's been a lot of things going on.
Spicy.
What we got cooking up?
Spicy.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's been a little spicy, man. We got Chris Jericho.
He's been cooking.
Chris Jericho has some very interesting things to say about AEW and another company about what things didn't look and how they did look. Uh,
Well,
what
it's,
else?
it's what it's what he didn't say about AEW because it's like you don't he kind of like shitted on them without mentioning them.
Right,
Because you give
right,
credit, you get
Basically.
obviously we all know what's the number one company in the world of wrestling.
right.
Without bias, we just know what it is. So when you're speaking about TNA and you're giving your opinion on TNA, you say they look like the number two company in the world, you inadvertently shit on AEW and you lower their ranking in your mind, and you're currently signed to them. And with the rumors of him leaving and coming back to WWE at the Rumble, I think that's a strong possibility now. I don't when
You
he's
know,
swerving, I don't think he's gonna swerve to that extent that he diminishes the company he's actually still with.
right. I think in that specific scenario, he was absolutely right because when you look at AEW did a residency there, so they're there for a couple of dynamites, couple of collisions, and then when you look at that one pay per view that TNA did, like it looks like two different arenas. Like it looked the presentation, how it looked, it was amazing. You were speaking about this off camera before, but I'm pretty sure Tony was attempting to do the old look of trying to bring the old school look of the AEW arena in there. So that's why it looked like that, but it didn't work. It looked very indie. It looked super duper indie.
Told you before,
It's pretty bad.
ECW is not their thing, so they shouldn't have tried to replicate that.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
they need to start sticking to their lane and sticking to what they've created and the original products that they push forward instead of continuously reaching into the past to pull some type of nostalgia. Like, bro, you're not bringing in new viewers. You kind of set on who's watching at this point. Like the only way I see him pulling in big views on bringing stuff or jumping on somebody's nostalgia or anything like that, bring in more celebrities, get more streamers on AEW as opposed to somebody for 30, 40 years ago, a promotion that's been defunct for over 20 something years.
right.
Stick to what, you know, makes AEW AEW.
I know
So
if I was TK, I would have had since Blood and Guts was like basic. It was basically like a pay per view level TV event. I would have made it my business to have the Hurt Syndicate on that show. I would have shoehorned them in just so I can have West Side Gun come out and perform and just have West Side Gun, or I would just have West Side Gun in the crowd and just make sure to like overly show him, yeah, West Side Gun is here, rapper, what did
yeah,
it like? I would have really
yeah.
just
As
spotlighted
far
him
as
like
bringing in celebrities, yeah,
yeah,
that would have been a perfect thing. He should have bring in the her business into that show regardless. But to cap off that last topic, if you didn't tell me that the TNA pay per view, which was Jericho was referring to, if you didn't tell me that that pay per view was in the same building as the
yeah,
ECW residency, I'd have never knew because TNA really did make that building look like it was a huge arena in comparison, and like their production was top notch in comparison. So he wasn't wrong, but it's that's like a heavy handed statement. So
yeah.
yeah. Any thoughts on that from you, Focus?
I think he's just trying to play hardball with Tony Khan, contract negotiations, and this, that, and the third, trying to raise up the price and everything to keep him around as such. him making these comments is, I'm not really interested in AEW, this, that, or the third. Maybe I'll head over here, and word gets around, and people talk, and talking causes action, and if Tony Khan is willing to split some of that 50 million that we just gave him, to Chris Jericho, then more power to him. I'd feel like I probably wouldn't if I was Tony Khan, but that's just me.
At this point, what do y'all think the chances of Jericho and WWE is at this point?
It's almost guaranteed. Seth
You,
Rollins
you,
voice.
you Seth Rollins guarantee it?
Seth Rollins, yeah, yeah.
Guarantee
Like,
it.
right. But yeah, I think it's really just to. I think it'll be the right thing to do. I think Jericho has done wonderful things at AEW. Everything has seasons. He did what he was supposed to do for AEW. He was what they needed when they needed him. It's they don't respectfully they don't really need Jericho anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he should go back to WWE and ride off into the sunset with WWE.
Especially he hasn't been producing the level of content that he was in the first year and a half of his AEW run. It's kind of been in like a decline. A couple gimmick. He had what, like 5, 6 gimmick changes. We've seen more gimmick
Yeah.
changes in AEW than probably his entire run in WWE. We're
He's
talking
had a
probably
few.
10 plus years.
He's had a few, and for me personally, I really liked Jericho's run at AEW. It wasn't until like those last like 2 years, it was just like, this is this
Yeah, we
is
only on what, like
Everything started to drag.
year 5
yeah,
going on
sorry.
year 6 or in year 6, one of those. So I mean, half the time you weren't interesting or was in this
I
position
like
where it wasn't producing the content fans wanted. So
yeah,
I think it's a lock in too, and I think he needs it at this point. People were
sure.
chat people were chanting, "Please retire," at Chris Jericho.
Right. Let's go away, Heat. Let's
That's
go away,
crazy.
Heat. Yeah, that's
That's
crazy. That's
crazy.
crazy. He doesn't deserve that. Like, you know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
so yeah,
So
but,
you guys was talking about the Hurt Business in the War Games. With
He
that
hurt
being
people.
said, I mean in the Blood and Guts, which is their version of
yes.
War Games.
He hurt people.
With that being said, coming off of the Raw that we kind of touched on in the last podcast earlier this week, which was the John Cena Boston final
Yeah.
appearance in Boston. It was supposed to be a
Mhm.
big celebration. There was a lot of war games set up on that show. So before we could even get our war games, they gave us Blood and Guts on Wednesday.
Right.
Um, the first ever women's war games match, and men's. So two war games matches, Blood and Guts matches. Excuse me,
Right.
on one show, regular broadcast Dynamite. This should have
Pay
been a
per
pay
view
per
level.
view. This should have been a pay per
Pay per view
view.
level dynamite. Yeah. Yeah. Pay per view level dynamite for sure.
And honestly, it should have been a pay per view. Only two get some of the guys in the spotlight in between. But I'm also not complaining because the pacing of this show felt like how a WWE paces their War Games match. One in the beginning, one to cap off the show, maybe a match or two of filler in the beginning, in the in between. So they pulled it off really good. And to start off with the first ever women's War Games match ever in history, they stole the show from the very beginning, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yep, they did.
They did
Right.
so many things in that match that I felt like, all right, how can the men even top this, even if they tried? Like we saw
It was just fun. It was
Monet's
fun.
13 belts.
Nah,
Don't
was she
It
only
was
12?
12. It
I
was
think she was
12 at the
only
time.
12 votes. She was only 12
She was
votes,
only
Monet.
12. Excuse me.
Yeah.
So
Things happen fast.
news flash, 13, now 13 belt Monet. You right? She just won it
Right.
at the HOG show coming out of Long Island, supporting the
Yep.
wrestling. HOG's been doing a lot of amazing things. She just won a new belt. I can't tell you what the name of the belt is. It's not the HOG Women's Championship. It was another
No,
match that was just featured on there just to give
didn't
Monet
come for that yet.
another belt in another appearance. So congrats to Monet, I guess, building on
That's
her
the certainty
legacy.
of Monet. But
Um,
I'm
I'm just gonna be honest. I was upset, and it's not even that it's upset on the level of like these fans who just being haters just to hate. It's just like another meaningless title. No disrespect to the promotion,
mhm,
but Monet makes them meaningless because where is she bringing in the people to the that she's defending them against? Where is she showcasing this besides a prop on TV? Where is she showcasing new talent to come in from those specific promotions to get their TV time, defend and beat them on TV instead of doing what she did in this match, pretty much throwing all the belts in the ring and showcasing them in front of all the women who don't get this much opportunity on the AEW roster. You have the other 5 women on your team holding up these belts and using them as weapons. They're props. I think that's kind of solidified my sentiment behind her 13 championships. They were literally used as props in this War Games match. Cool visual, I guess. Cool
mhm.
visual. The match was great. I'm not complaining about the match at all, but on that topic, it's like, bro, they're so meaningless. They're just props. You gave them away for other people to use as weapons.
How you feel about that, Focus?
Feel like Tony Khan should have booked something else like that a long time ago. Give some promotions to the little promotions and stuff, and that way, so they could get more well known. We could have a developmental system or whatever, but these 10 companies haven't gotten any sign. Like, can anybody name most of these belts promotions? I know like 5 of them. Can
Once she
anybody
ran
else
through, once
name
she ran through all the
name any of
major
these letters or
indies,
anything like that? Like, I understand, like, with the only thing is I won't take it away from her because I kind of feel like it's the same way with the J Crown title that Ultimo Dragon had. Can anybody name any of those belts, like, without Googling it right now?
No, I can't.
no, of course
That's
not.
yeah, no.
So I'm not gonna take that away from her, but at the same time, it's like you're not building prestige at all, and I feel like that's Tony Khan's fault because I feel like if Tony Khan was to say, "Hey, you know, if now that Mercedes Moné got this title, maybe we could do a partnership with this promotion, give it a little bit of TV time," but that's not happening, and that's Tony's fault because he's not making this connection
Right.
to
You know what's ironic?
make this like the new territories. He rather just copy from other promotions like NWA and make another
That's
title
exactly where I
for a
was
meaningless
leaning
division,
towards.
but like meaningless divisions that don't really have any definitions for anything. You know, no heavyweight class, no cruiserweight class, no hardcore class, no anything like with substance, and that's what's lacking in AEW. And instead, they give us these blood and guts matches, which they try to give us a high spots, and it works. But for the most part, that's why it's on TV instead of a pay per view because they don't have that extra oomph to make it a pay per view.
Mhm, mhm.
No,
What I
no,
would say,
no. So
what, what
they
I would
have.
say,
I'm sorry, not to cut you off. I wouldn't say they don't have the oomph for the pay per view. It's you're at the point where you need to do these shock value events on your weekly because you're plateauing as far as viewership and like pulling in new people. You've plateaued. So these are like shock value things to get people to tune in.
right.
But what were you saying, Rich?
No, I was gonna bring it back to Mercedes and touch on that too. That with the Mercedes thing, what the argument would be is those indie promotions are seeing numbers they've never seen before, like as far as attendance and their
Have
merch,
they?
their business.
I haven't seen I haven't seen anything
That has
pop from
been
them.
the argument. I know one specific company that she does in Canada. The owner has come out and he said that their numbers, their attendance, their merch is since Mercedes has won their championship. That's one out of it. I can't speak for the other one, but I know that specific company. I wish I could remember the name of it. That owner came out and he did say their business has been better since she's been champion. So that would be the argument. That's not necessarily my take. I wish that those belts mean more. I
So,
think it's cool that she has all those championships, but it's just like they don't ever get defended. There should never be a Mercedes Monet match at this point in her career right now where those championships are not defended. It doesn't make any sense. Like it doesn't
Every
make
She
any
should be
sense.
defending shit. I mean, she should be having an open challenge weekly for one of the belts.
That it's like it's such easy things
Weekly.
to book. It's an
If
easy thing to book,
if not weekly, per show, and that includes Collision.
right? Or
but
whatever whatever the case
let's
is,
use
weekly, bi-weekly.
what you were saying, right? The people who ran a certain promotion said that their promotion was doing better off or got a boost.
Oh,
So the only thing that I can use an example is like HOG. It's an indie. Um, does probably better than most indies, right?
yeah, definitely.
We saw as fans, we saw an immediate impact of what Monet does to the card because the ticket sales, the prices jumped up. All the rows were maybe double in price. So we did
Right.
see how she impacted because it was obviously a sold out show. So asses was in them seats, asses was standing up
Yeah.
and watching this show. Packed room. So you see it, but then once she leaves, you see the immediate decline. It's back to business as usual because now ticket prices are back to what they normally are for regular shows, even matches, even cards where we recently went to the Hardy's card. Hardy sold that shit the hell out, packed the hell out of it, but it was still at the reasonable price as compared to when they booked Monet on the card. Same thing with this Long Island show. Ticket prices boosted back up. So we see that, but how often is she visiting 13 different promotions with her
Right.
schedule?
That,
You only have
that's
time for
Honestly,
definitely
maybe one or two.
I don't really follow her schedule like that. I don't know. I can't really comment on if she's defending them like on their shows or not.
she's
But I
only
haven't
having
heard anything. I
championship
don't see
matches.
anything.
I don't see
If she's
anything.
wrestling
I don't see
outside of
anything.
AEW, she's only having championships. She's only wrestling to win
But that's
championships.
to gain
Which
it. That's to
and,
gain it.
and
That's not to defend it though.
Right.
right, that's it. Right, right. Like yeah, you're right. To gain it. My thing is, and like you said, that TV time should be used. Like and also another thing with her run is besides Tony Storm, there really hasn't been any. She hasn't had a rival. She really hasn't. She's just been beating a bunch of
Well,
people.
I feel like Chris Statlander would probably be her closest rival. One could say because she's the one that she got the title from her, and it seems like they're always having a feud, and then somehow, some way, Harley Cameron is in the mix of it because of it. And other than those two, not really. One could say Athena maybe from Ring of Honor,
But
but
she always
they don't.
loses.
But she doesn't.
That,
Exactly, and that's
and
Tony Khan's booking.
that's why I almost don't consider like I am because what you're saying is absolutely correct because she took the title from Statlander. Statlander's always kind of like been like side eyeing like kind of chasing her, but it's just like she always loses to her. Tony Storm is the only person to beat her, so that's why like I consider Tony Storm her
And
rival.
that's why
I want Chris Statlander to
I
win.
don't know
That's all.
because I feel like Tony Storm is on another level, and like she's like Tony Storm is like right here, and Monet would be right here. I wouldn't say like that was her rival or anything. I feel like Mariah May was more of the rival, but she
It's Tony
left,
Storm.
and that left like a vacuum, and somehow, some way, um, they decided to sense that, we can't go forward with whatever it is that Mariah May and Tony Storm may do. Let's go with this Chris Statlander and this Mercedes Monet. And now let's see if at Full Gear can Mercedes Monet win the title from Chris Statlander like she started with the TBS title, or can Chris Statlander get that vindication and come back and and show that not only can she beat Monet, but she's actually a champion that could be defended and be the face of the company going forward.
So one of the key things that you said in there was the rival thing, right? You as far as you compare Tony Storm and Monet, that you felt one wasn't on the same level, so you didn't feel like they were rivals. That's exactly how I feel about Stanlander. And I can't say, like, yes, they've entangled, they've have legitimate reasons to fight each other, but Statlander is not on the level of a Tony Storm or a Monet. She's proving herself now. She's doing big things now, but her TBS title run wasn't all that. Just honest opinion on my end, it wasn't
I
all that.
feel
She wasn't built
I
as a
feel
credible
like
contender, because when she
because
won the world championship, it was a surprise moment. We didn't even have a
Very right.
build to when she beat Tony for that. It was
Yeah,
literally a
okay.
thrown together match that she ended up winning it from. She's never been on Tony Storm's level. The person who was exactly on her level left the company. Monet's the only person who's on that level because of how many titles that she has, because of the
yeah, there's
spotlight
a
that
power
she's
vacuum,
taken.
like I said.
So she's the only one that's on that level of spotlight that can face a Tony Storm. If you're saying who's Austin and who's The Rock, you can only put Tony Storm or Monet in those brackets. You can't put Chris
Yeah,
Statlander in that
not
bracket.
that.
Chris Statlander right now is Triple H. Yeah, you're there. You're probably just as great as far as what you can give us, but
You got to
you're
prove
not
it.
your total package isn't their total package. The game wasn't as big as The Rock and Austin 316, but he was in the mix. Not taking nothing away from that legacy, but Tony's in her game phase where she's getting the ball tossed to her now. You know what I mean? And she's proven herself now. But right now, she's not on that. She's
I
not on
feel
Moni's level. And as far as
I f-
I mean,
Monet
we've seen that at
Monet
All
and the
In.
titles, we definitely, I agree 100% with what you said. We definitely need them to rotate people on the show from these promotions. Anytime that Monet steps out of AEW and has any match, it's on X, it's on Twitter. We're seeing the updates. We don't see anything from these 13 promotions, not consistently. So you're doing nothing for them outside of one, maybe two shows a year. You know what I mean? If that, because when are you doing the loop to drop the titles in Japan? Was the
I
last
mean,
time you was in
we
Japan?
haven't. The story. So with that, I would say the story is still it's still going on. You know what I'm saying? Like there's still it's still the downfall. We haven't seen the downfall yet. Like
Also,
she's still going like this. We haven't seen the downfall yet.
yeah. Also, the Ultimo Dragon thing. The big difference in Ultimo Dragon was it was in an era where that was kind of unheard of. He was one of the first to do it in the way he did it. And in that era, you was defending, you was territorial. They weren't locked in a major promotion like a WWE or AEW back then. It was very territorial. So these guys were hitting the road and doing 4 or 5 different promotions,
Yeah,
and it was consistent in that. So while she has the numbers that now surpass Ultimo Dragon, the impact of what Ultimo Dragon has done still hasn't been topped, because the way you top Ultimo Dragon, you start making people. You start making stars. And I can't name
Did he make those belts?
anyone, huh?
Did he make those belts? Did he make those belts?
I can't name any of those belts that's Ultimo Dragon.
I'm
Did he
saying
make those belts?
I'm saying
I can name a
I'm
few
saying
that Mercedes has.
the difference, like I said, the difference in Ultimo and Monet, Ultimo was definitely defending in those promotions more consistently back then.
How do we know that? I don't know that.
I don't know.
Did
I
you
don't know.
look
I
at
don't know if he put
if you don't
anybody. I
even
don't
know
know
Because
if
it
he
these
was
put
if you
anybody.
don't even know where these titles are from, how can you just say that he was defending it there? And we don't even
okay.
know what promotions these are.
So let's fact check.
We don't
Let-
have to
let-
fact check. At the end of the day, you don't know and we don't know. So
no,
how can you say that?
because we can fact check. Why don't we go
No,
and
but you
see?
said it before you even fact checked it. How that's crazy. You said
But
something.
you're
You
the
just
one
made a
that's fact
statement
checking me.
without even. I'm not fact checking nothing. I'm just saying, like
But I
you're saying
explained why I
something.
came to that
You made a
conclusion.
statement without going without you know what I'm saying.
Okay, but
You made a statement
I
without going to
explained
that.
why, because Ultimo wasn't locked into just one promotion.
Yeah, we just. I
Monet has to
understand.
show up on a weekly and a monthly. She has a locked in AEW schedule. Then she could commit to whatever. She's not covering all 13 promotions. Where it was a possibility that Ultimo Dragon was, because he wasn't locked in. There was actual territory systems
Right. Also, on
when
the
I
next
know there
he
was
show,
was
actual
doing it.
territory
So
systems, but
that's
it's
why I'm
we,
saying it.
but
But
we can't.
we could
we
continue
can
the
follow that up on
conversation
the next
because
show. Yeah, we can follow that up on the next
no, no,
show.
no,
We
no.
can
We're gonna
follow.
follow. No, 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 no. You want to fact check, but you don't want to do the Googles to actually fact check me. So I'm gonna Google it middle of this
Google it.
conversation, and
Go
we're
ahead.
gonna see, because you could check.
But he, like I said, he didn't make any of those titles.
But my point was not him making the titles. His
It is
legacy
about
is
putting
not
people over.
surpassed because he's one of the
It's
first to
about
do it, right? So the way she
he was
surpasses
one
him,
of the first to do it,
right?
but at the
So the
same
way that
time,
she
it's like
surpasses him,
if you're trying
and
to
not just in
if you
numbers,
can't
is
dismiss
you
it, you
make
can't
people.
dismiss it. It's
How
not even the
many?
same thing.
I'm not dismissing her shit. I just said the way you surpass the legacy of Ultimo Dragon more than numbers. You have to stop. You got to let me get my whole entire thought out before you try to chop it down. All right, you trying to walk me down like 6ix9ine? Let me get my whole thought out. Seriously, because we're gonna just keep going in circles. Um, I'm even losing my thought process right now. What was what was I saying before that?
Okay, I'll
He was
talk
gonna
about.
Google. He was gonna
I'll talk
Google
about
the
Ultimo
promotions.
Dragon.
After that,
I'm talking about Ultimo Dragon and Mercedes Monet and how she can top, how Mercedes can top Ultimo Dragon's
right?
legacy.
So and what I said, the key, and I said, and what I said was, in more than just numbers, is you make stars. Because I didn't hear of any stars that Ultimo Dragon made either. I don't expect anyone on this planet as a fan to take enough time to know what 10 different promotions or 13 different promotions and name every single title. None of us have the time in our lives for me to, on the spot, call 13 different championships, because you can't even do it, to name 13 different championships and to name 13 different promotions that they're all by. No one here is going to do that. No casual fan is going to do that. Not even a diehard fan is going
This
to
is
be
why
able
I'm
to
trying to.
pull out all 13. So that's why I said, as my estimation on it, and my reasoning behind what I'm saying is, back then, there was a legitimately known territory system. These champions were running circuits and filling their schedules, running circuits through the different promotions. What she's doing is similar to it, but she's locked in to a major promotion where she has locked in schedules for that promotion. So she cannot stretch her time as much as Ultimo Dragon could have stretched his time back in the days. Not only that, those things weren't uh, majorly produced and televised the way these things are now.
Yeah.
I think Ultimo
So
Dragon
back
was
then,
contracted with New
they
Japan
were
at the
able
time.
to do 2, 3 different shows on one night. They were able to do 3, 4 different shows in a 3-day span. That was the big difference back then, and that is just a fact of how the business
Yeah.
was back then. So I'm
Yeah.
comparing 20 something years in difference here. Like, we could get the match listings and see the defenses if you want. There's literally websites for that.
I mean, yeah,
That's
we
why
So
can
we
go to
that's
can't
why
we
I
can
was
do
go to
that.
saying
Stage
that's
Match
why I
and
was
see.
saying we should follow up
But
on
We
I'm
the
can't
saying
do
like,
that.
we can
But
follow up on the
but we
for
cement
but you
you
show.
can't, but you really
for you
can't.
to not understand where I'm coming from or think that that's kind of a valid comparison is wild to me, because there's no way she's fitting that schedule. No way.
But you don't know. But
Not
you don't
locked in
know if
into
Ultimo
major
Dragon actually did that
promotion.
though.
I know what the wrestlers generally did back then. Their dates were 10 times worse than it is now. Their schedule was 10 times worse, 100 times worse. Listen to any legend that
We
speaks
all know
about
that.
the
We
dates
all
they
know the
put in,
schedule was
and then
worse
you're talking about
before.
Tony Khan's company, where he allows extended times where people could be off TV or not working, and give people the opportunity to book their dates, right? But that's why, if you want to say we can't
No, it's a
tell,
hold on.
with Ultimo
It's a safe
Dragon, how
assumption.
come we can't tell with Monet right now?
It's a safe assumption.
That's what I'm saying. It's a safe assumption.
Okay, yeah.
I'm not going to pull out the 13 titles off the top of my head and the 13 promotions and all of
I'm
their
also not,
dates.
but I'm also
That's
not gonna bury her
off the
because
top of
of
my head.
that shit.
How am I burying her? I said keywords. And this is the thing. You have to absorb the whole context of what I'm saying before you react. I
You
never
saying
buried
that
her.
you saying that she got paper championships, and it's like none of these titles mean
When did I say
anything. They don't
paper
have a name.
championship? I said she's
What's that
making
paper
it. She
championship?
is not meaningful. I never said paper championship. That never came out my mouth once. And we can rewind this
Oh,
podcast. Please do, and then like, share, and get people to subscribe after. But rewind the footage. Not once did I say paper championship. I said, if anything, I said the the titles keep being handed to her are meaningless because she's not putting anyone over. She's not putting the promotions over. We None of them are being showcased. And when we do hear it about it on X, social media,
yeah, that's what I said.
which we didn't have back then, so they had to really hit the towns and make the towns to be known. Now you could just promote. Why she's not promoting on her own page every single um
Probably does.
appearance?
Oh,
Right, she probably does. So why we're not seeing them? So why
I
are we
don't
not
know.
seeing the next appearances? No, but you're
I
saying
wish
I'm
I
burying
know.
her. You're saying I'm burying her, right? So you have to rebut what I'm saying as far as the burial goes. I'm stating legitimate things. Why isn't she promoting these other promotions and her upcoming schedule where she's going to appear at these promotions? She doesn't.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Does she? I don't check her. I'm not checking her social media like that to see if she does or
All
not.
right.
And I
Okay.
follow her. I don't see it.
I mean,
I see the
if
results.
she does, she
I see the
does.
results of her promotion. I see maybe a week before it's about to happen, but I don't see
If
a
she does, she
consistent.
does. But I'm not. I'm
But
what I'm trying to say is that I'm
where in
not
this
trying to.
conversation, where exactly? Because paper championship never came out my mouth. I said it's continuously giving her the belt is becoming meaningless because there's not promoting anything. We're not getting new stars out of it, and they were literally used as props in the match. That's what I said. A paper title is like just a notch or whatever the case may be, right?
Right. Right.
Yeah,
What I'm
All
asking
right.
is, on top of these
I think you
accolades,
got the point.
do the next step. Do the next step. Put people over. But I never bury her. I said getting higher number than Ultimo doesn't mean you did more than Ultimo. But the
I
way
never
that you
said
can
that.
make, but that's what I said. That's what I said. The way
That's
you
what's up.
the way you make your Ultimo Monet run better than Ultimo Dragon is you get more people over in this run. You get more shine on these promotions. You do like we said. You got somebody every week, every other week, a new promotion, a new challenger, a new person getting shine. A new. She could have had her John Cena tournament this whole year on AEW, showcasing new people, really building the business, not just her legacy. I can't
All
take
right,
nothing
guys.
away. I can't take
Guys,
nothing away from
guys,
Monet.
I don't want to cut your wisdom. I've met Monet in person. She is a lovely woman, but she is not going to be the entire crux of our podcast. I think we can put a
No,
pin in
no.
this for now. We can follow up
But
on this next
the
week
thing
and move
is,
on from the
the
Monet
thing
thing.
is,
Please, can
before
we?
I can move on, when you say I'm burying somebody, you have to come with legitimate reasons why you feel that I'm burying someone. That's a big term in the wrestling business,
That's
burying
true.
someone,
That's
and I'm
true.
not burying her. I'm saying I want a little bit more. Can nobody take
I think
before
I
you
can agree
try
with
to
that too. I can agree with
segue?
that too.
What I was gonna end it off on was you can't take anything away from Monet because we know what she's done in NXT. We know what she did for that division. We know what she did in WWE. We know what she did for that division on the main roster. And we know what she's been doing recently. You can't take that away. But we can ask more from our stars. The same way we could say John Cena's the GOAT. But our last podcast talk about this shit was trash. His fucking run was trash. This last run, are we being unbiased and giving our unfiltered opinion? Or am I
Yeah.
burying John Cena? There's a difference. And as a podcast, you got to know when when we're burying for real, when something is a joke, or when something is just, yo, that's like we said the last podcast. When are
We're
they gonna
booking a
know when
trap.
something is trash? When
Yeah.
are they gonna know when
Don't
something's
do
not working? It's the same thing here. You know what I mean? So we could continue on to the war games. You got anything final to say?
Don't be mid.
Don't
I
be
think that's gonna be
mid.
my.
See?
I think that's gonna be my. I think that's gonna be my through
Don't
line
be
throughout
mid.
the
Don't be mid.
entire. Don't be mid. That's
Don't be mid.
don't be mid.
But
Don't be mid.
somebody got to say it. Somebody got to say it at the end of the day because it's like with Kenny when he was the belt collector, it felt like something. The only
Yeah.
time it didn't feel like something was TNA's part of that deal, but we got eyes on the AAA. I knew about the Mega Championship of AAA before WWE even touched that because Kenny was shining the proper light on that promotion
Yeah.
at that time. So that's really what I'm asking for. But
Yeah. I don't think there's
they
anything wrong
used the
with that.
titles as a prop in War Games. As
I
props in
mean,
War Games, they
there,
was
there's
hitting people.
wait,
They
wait,
were
wait, wait,
hitting
wait, wait,
people
wait,
with the
wait.
belts.
Before you say that, there has been times when they broadcasted the CMML title, but other than that, there's really not much else. They try to do this shit with what's her name? Starts with a P.
Who you talking about, Kenny
Um,
or Monet again?
Okay.
Monet. What's her name?
And I
Her
remember
name
the time.
starts with a
I
P.
do. Now that you bring it up, I do remember times they brought up the CMML because they do. They work with them too. Like so, you know, it makes
That
sense.
CMML girl. What's her name? Starts with a P. She defended it on Dynamite like recently.
So I
But it's like
know.
it's shit like that they
Yeah.
need.
It's just
But
more of
that's a
that.
partnership.
More of that.
But that's a
More
partnership
of
you're
that.
talking about. When Kenny was doing it, they didn't have a direct partnership with any of those companies. The only one that they was trying to do it with was TNA, and that shit
But they
fell
had a
through.
partnership with AAA.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that
That
wasn't
during
They
something
that
did.
time.
that wasn't something that was officially announced, officially on paper like it is with WWE or how
Nah,
TNA
I
is
mean,
with
it was
WWE
a
now.
own. I mean, it was like New Japan and AW, I guess.
No, it was a collaboration. WWE just owns AAA
Because
Well,
Sammy had
partnership.
and Tay Conti had
now.
Sammy and Tay Conti had the mixed titles too.
They just own. They own it, of
So
course.
it was a partnership, but I think Tony Khan wanted to get with CMML afterwards for some reason.
Yeah, that's a whole nother podcast all in itself. WWE's partnerships. Yeah, yeah, yeah. They just Oh,
But
Loki just owned it. Like another podcast, and we got another
uh,
conversation for another time.
yeah.
But
So
yeah, let's touch on these war. Let's touch on these war games. I mean, there's been
to tuck the conversation, really tuck it. They promote certain things. They're gonna promote their partnerships way above any of these indie promotions because AEW literally has not promoted. If she has 13 now, they have not promoted at least 11 of these companies once. The only promotion they get is when the belt hits the table, or she has the Monet belt guys coming out. That's the biggest mention most of them get. And they barely even show highlights of when she wins these things. They just mention, hey, she just won this on commentary. So it's a selective promotion. I'm not asking, hey, we need a fucking vignette of every company every week of 13 different companies. I'm just saying, can we see
Or
some of
not?
them?
They should.
Can you do what you was
They
doing
should
on
though.
Dark when Dark was a thing, and as a company start promoting more up and comers week to week like you used to? And that's the fucking highway to do it, and the best reasoning to do it. Our one of our top stars is holding down y'all belts, bitch. Come to AEW and try to get it from her. That storyline will be fire. And and the thing is, like Rich said, the story isn't finished. And off camera, you said like you was enjoying. I don't know if you said you enjoyed the rise, and I said while people are enjoying the rise, I'm gonna enjoy the fall because that's when these people are gonna get promoted. That's when the
no, that's
people
what I'm saying.
are
Yeah,
gonna
that's what I'm saying.
get the
I'm saying the
spotlight.
fall is gonna be the story. Yeah,
You know,
yeah. She's still
that,
She's gonna have to take at least 13
she's
losses
gonna take mad look.
at
That's what
this
I'm saying.
point,
That's what I
that's
said.
what I'm
The
saying.
fall is gonna be the
or
story.
My
She's
10.
still
and
peaking right
and
now.
and this is the thing. That's why I took it a little personally when you were saying I was burying her because my fantasy booking, and I've said this to you guys multiple times in the group chat and just random conversation not related to the pod. I've said my dream booking for her literally is to start losing the belts, go on this losing streak. She loses all the glamour and all the glitz, not on the level of like a Young Bucks, we broke now, but maybe like a bum Corbin, how life was just everything was going wrong. You feel me? And then like I was hoping from All In, and this is where this idea came from All In through to the next 6 months after All In. I was hoping she would start that decline of losing the belts. So then the second half of the 6 months, getting to next year's All In, she's already back on that rise, getting her confidence back, finally boosting herself. And at the time, I thought Tony Storm would still be champion, but whoever is
That's how it's trying to
champion,
happen.
um, whoever is champion, whether it's Tony Storm or Chris Statlander, by the time All In comes in, or whoever is the new, that she's there, finally like a humbled Monet, went through the fucking like loss streak, and like that's that's where her character development really lies. Because honestly, is walk in, show up, dance, win title, leave. That's really all that's been happening everywhere. And then on TV, let's not front like her rivalries haven't started kicking up since she started revolving around Tony a little bit, since Athena started coming around, and now that Chris Statlander stepping up. Now that that's happening, and Harley Cameron with Puppet Monet, I check the pods. Go back in the pods. I said, yo, I just wish there was more personality, more character development. And then when Harley Cameron came in with the puppet, it was and Renee Paquette coming in and being like the Monet fan girl, bro. I said it. I love Monet. We could go back and rewind that. For the
Right.
viewers who are joining us for the first time or haven't been keeping up, we could go back. I literally said that on our pod. I started to love her because of Harley Cameron, because of Renee Paquette, and it's the character development that I want from her. Just getting title after title without the things that we're talking about. It's like, okay, now I'm ready for the second half of the story. She's been tribal chief of the universe, pretty much of
Right.
the entire wrestling industry. Now we need the side of the tribal storyline that she's having, where we get that rebound, where we start
We
loving
might we might
her for
we might get to
for
that full
different
gear.
reasons.
We
Now
might
what?
get to that full gear. We might get to that full gear because there's a good chance she's gonna.
You think she's gonna take it for Statlander at Full Gear?
No, there's a good chance she's gonna lose.
At
If
Full
she
Gear.
loses, then you know what I'm saying. Then you can start that. So I don't think she. Maybe she can. Maybe like I'm saying,
I don't
the
think.
story's still going. Maybe she hasn't peaked yet. Maybe she does win and she does get to that. But once you get there, you can only just go
Yo,
down,
you know
bro.
what? I wouldn't even be too surprised if she goes and tries to hold 17 belts, so she could do the Ric Flair John Cena thing all in one time. Like, I'm 17 belt, unseen 17 Monet. Like,
Yeah.
but
I don't think we necessarily need to get there, but I mean, hey, you know, it is, you know, it is. I think, like you said, the story will be in the downfall. So I'm not actually opposed to her beating Chris Statlander because then you can start the story of the downfall. Like that, I think that's where the story is. But yeah,
I mean, this conversation was good as hell. So what's gonna happen is this is gonna be a two-part podcast. We're gonna clip this, and we're gonna make this a whole segment in its own, because it's a conversation that honestly probably needed to be had in from the fan perspective, because you know at what point do we stop glazing people and like glorifying shit and saying like, okay, this could be corrected, like, you
yeah.
know I'm
Instead
not
of
saying
camera,
I'm
I'm
the
tired of
number
giving.
I'm not
I
saying I'm
love
the number one
podcasting.
fan of these people,
Yeah.
but at what point, like, if Austin didn't change into his comedic era, would we got tired of Austin after a while?
Nah, they did it to man. That's a whole nother conversation for another time because they pulled the trigger too soon. He shouldn't have went heel when he did. They still had a lot of gas tank with Austin's badass tweener run, but that's another conversation for another thing.
That's true too.
They had mad gas in the tank for that. Nobody wanted to see Austin go heel. Nobody wanted to. But like with Mercedes, it's just really simple things. You have all these belts. Why? Like there should be open challenges. There should never be a Mercedes match where she's not defending one of those championships. It's really simple, small things. Like I said off camera, I love podcasting, but I'm tired of giving these billion dollar companies good ideas. It's just simple things. Cause like, come on, who's booking this crap? And who's booking this crap?
She could have her the Monet's Open Challenge weekly.
Itself. It writes. It's she walks out with guys holding her championships. Come, let me defend this one. All right, let me get up. Come, cut me a check, TK. Cause like, what are you not doing?
Yeah.
Like,
But